Blockware Solutions is a service that allows you to buy, sell, and host your own Bitcoin miner at any of their locations. Today, we're going to be taking a look at how to navigate their ecosystem, how to gauge your profitability, how to get your hands on a device, how to host it, and how to buy and sell if you want to do either of those things. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
Bitcoin Well is on a mission to enable independence by being one of the easiest and quickest ways to purchase Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And the best part about it, every buy goes directly into your own self-custody. They never hold your coins. You can add a Bitcoin address as part of onboarding. There's a transparent 1% spread, no hidden fees, no withdrawal fees. Plus they have KYC free sells and bill payments on their website. They're also a publicly traded company under the ticker BTCW on the TSXV. Check them out over at bitcoinwell.com. Check out my full tutorial on how to use them, and you can check out the links in the show notes down below and sign up today. Kite.com has some of the best hardware on the market today to secure your Bitcoin. The Cold Card Q is an absolute powerhouse and is my daily driver. And on top of this, they have plenty of other goodies, including the Mark IV, the Tap Signer, Open Dimes, the Block Clock, and much more. If you head over to their website, make sure you use code BTC Sessions at checkout to get a nice discount. Links are in the show notes down below. So let's start with prerequisites and a little bit about Blockware and kind of how they fit into the mining ecosystem. So in terms of prerequisites, what are you going to need to know in order to successfully navigate this tutorial? Well, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You'll need to have cursory knowledge in and around Bitcoin and Bitcoin wallets, mainly so that you can receive payouts if you end up doing some hashing here. Other than that, if you're going to be purchasing a mining rig with Bitcoin, which I'll be doing in this video, then you're going to want to have some Bitcoin in a wallet. Other than that, we're going to go through everything and kind of explain it all as we get started. Now, this also, side note, is a first time for me. So I've done very minimal mining. I do have a home miner, but it is actually, the main purpose of it is as a space heater. So basically, you know, I have an old version of a miner called an S9, and those things do pump out heat, and I kind of retrofitted it with different fans, and it's not meant to drive any profit. So that's not the main goal of it. Yeah. So in terms of Blockware Solutions, what they do is they allow you to have a hosted device that you own, but it will be in one of their facilities around the US. And so this allows you to utilize their marketplace. There's a peer-to-peer marketplace of people who own other hosted devices, and you can go in there and you can purchase them with dollars or Bitcoin. And we're going to be using Bitcoin today as the example. And then once you have the device, then you can have it hashing for you and get regular payouts to your own Bitcoin wallet. So a question I often see is, why might you do this? And for me, the main reason I'm wanting to try this out for the first time is where I live, my electricity rates are going to be prohibitively expensive to host my own device. And so when you're looking at hosting solutions, it's often because you're curious or you want to mine, you want to have your hash rate somewhere where they maybe get a preferred rate, and they've managed to find a place where their electricity costs are much lower, which in turn allows you to net more of the Bitcoin being mined, which in turn allows you to get more of that profit, or actually be profitable instead of, you know, in the instance of my home device here, that's not a profitable device, but I would have had a space heater plugged in anyways, so I may as well get a few sats in the process. So that's why somebody might utilize something like Blockware for hosting. Again, this is the first time for me doing this, so this is going to be a new venture for me to try out. Excited to play around with it. And then the other question that I often get asked is, what are the risks associated with hosted mining? Well, again, like there's a degree of trust where you've got a device that is held at a facility that is run by Blockware. We've seen in the past where there's companies that have out of country facilities where there's been issues, things like that, particularly in and around the war in Ukraine and some Russian facilities with other hosting companies. Blockware is explicitly in the US. So jurisdictionally, if you're in the US, at least you have the assurances of, well, you're dealing with the US government as opposed to some unknowns in other unstable regions. So yeah, that would be my answer to that. But of course, everybody has to make their own decisions, engage their own risk, and yeah. So I'm going to be partaking in this and getting myself a singular machine, but we're going to dive into it right now. So let's go take a look at the website and see how to get set up and started. Okay, so here we are at the blockwaresolutions.com website. This is the main page here. And the first thing that you can do from the main page, they've got plenty of information about the company here, but you can just simply hit enter the marketplace. And at this point, it will give you the sign up button up top. That's the first thing you're going to do. Okay. Now here, you can see I already have an account. However, if you do not have an account, it will ask you to sign in or create an account. And this is simply a name and an email. Okay. But I will use my existing account here and I'm going to get signed in, and then we'll see what other stuff I have to plug in to get set. And yeah, I'll stay signed in here. Okay, so let's do our last couple things to get ourselves set up here. So it says you need to complete these onboarding steps to buy your first rig. So we'll get that out of the way, and then we'll get lay of the land here and figure out our way around the website. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click that. And number one, I'm going to need to enter some personal details here. And then after that, number two, I'm going to need to just accept the agreement. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to enter those things, and then we'll jump ahead. Okay, so I put in my information, both those things turned green, we're good to go. One other thing I need to do here is I'm going to, over on the left, it says wallet configuration, and it's going to ask me some information. Alternatively, if I click wallet over here on the left, it's going to say, hey, there's no Bitcoin wallet. In order to buy and sell on Blockware Marketplace, you need to save a Bitcoin address where mining rewards and rig sales will automatically pay out to. If I hit go to account, then it basically takes me exactly where we are right now. So I just need a Bitcoin address. I will note that you can also drop a Lightning node ID. So if you're running your own Lightning node, you can have that directed to it for Lightning payouts, which is also pretty cool. In this video, I'm just going to leave a regular Bitcoin wallet address as my example, and then we'll go from there. So I am going to navigate to this wallet, and this is a tutorial wallet that I use, and it's got some funds in here that are going to be utilized to purchase my mining rig, but is also where I'm going to get my mining rewards to go. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit receive, and then I'll just type in Blockware as my little note that that's where it's coming from. Now, a lot of wallets are very, very different. This is Sparrow wallet. I'll say it's a little bit more on the advanced side, but if you have a regular Bitcoin wallet that you can just hit receive and copy the address, that's all the information you're going to need. And I will link down below for those of you that are relatively new to this, that you can get a simple mobile wallet that is very easy to set up, and it'll walk you all the way through it. I'll also link to Sparrow wallet tutorial so that you can check out that one if you see fit. But either way, this is all I need. I've hit receive, and I need this receive address. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to plunk that in right here. So just a quick copy and paste. It's always good to check the first few digits and last few digits. and make sure, oops, I clicked through, make sure that those look the same, and it looks good to me. Okay. And then your threshold, your payouts. How much do you want to wait until you get paid out? And I'm going to say 0.01. So you don't want to necessarily be receiving transactions for very, very low amounts when it comes to Bitcoin, because then when you go to spend them later, if there's spikes in fees and things like that, it may be a little prohibitively expensive. So it's a good idea to have a bit of a higher threshold. Maybe actually in this instance, I'll just go 0.005. I think that's fine for me. And then your interval, like if you're earning enough, how often do you want it to check if you've hit that threshold? You know, I don't mind having it a little bit longer, a 24-hour threshold. I think that's fine for me. I don't mind. So I'm going to leave that as is. I'm going to hit Save Changes. And so I do not currently have a wallet balance or anything like that because I haven't gotten paid out. I don't have an actual mining rig. So that is the next thing we're going to attack. We want to first get a rundown of what's in front of us and then get ourselves a rig. Okay, so let's just get lay of the land here. Mostly, let's concern ourselves with the left-hand side here. So currently, we're on the dashboard. This gives us, again, our total revenue, our total hash rate, the power usage, the total number of rigs we have, and then we're going to have a chart down below that we can show hash rate, efficiency, revenue, all of that stuff over multiple time periods. Of course, we don't have a rig yet, so there's nothing listed here, and there's nothing listed in the asset section down below, as well as the wallet balance off to the right-hand side. Nothing there yet. If we go to the left and we click on Marketplace, then we see the ability to buy and sell rigs. We're going to go into this in more detail momentarily. If we click on Wallet, of course, this gives us a balance and a total of any activity that we have here. And then again, assets, that's going to show us our existing rigs that we may have, and then transactions that have been done with our wallet or purchasing and selling rigs. And then of course, support down below. Now, by virtue of using their hosting solution, by default, you will be mining with the Blockware Solutions mining pool. And so the way that they do this, they use something called FPPS with a 2% fee, dynamic payout thresholds, and schedule hourly or daily. We saw all those little things as we did our initial setup. But just a kind of a TLDR, with FPPS, miners get rewarded regardless of if the pool mines a block or not. No luck needed, just hash power. And to flesh that out a little bit more, FPPS stands for full pay per share. In this mode, both the block reward and the mining service charge are settled according to the theoretical profit. Calculate a standard transaction fee within a certain period and distribute it to miners according to their hash power contributions in the pool. It increases the miner's earnings by sharing some of the transaction fees. With PPS and FPPS payment methods, you will get paid no matter if the pool finds a block or not. This is an advantage over some of the other ways of being paid out. With other ways, the risks and the rewards are higher depending on what happens and whether your mining pool is successfully mining blocks or not. So with this, you just have steady income. You don't have to worry about, oh, what if we miss some blocks or something like that. It's just more steady. So anyways, that is what is going to be utilized in terms of mining pool in the back end here. If you do have other rigs that are situated elsewhere, you can actually point them. If you choose to use it, you can actually go to mine.blockwarepool.com and utilize their mining pool. There are plenty of other mining pools out there. You can look them out. You can see how big they are in comparison to each other and the different payout schemes, but it's pretty simple, just kind of pointing at a particular mining pool. It usually involves signing up on a website and everything. As we see here, this is the mining pool website, and you can go there and just sign in and direct your hash power to it. But in this solution, again, by default, we're going to be pointed directly at the Blockware mining pool. So you don't even really need to think about it in this instance. It's just automated for you. All right, so let's get ourselves into the marketplace. Let's get our hands on a rig. So we're going to navigate again over on the left-hand side to the marketplace. And I just kind of want to outline how you can go about looking here and figuring out what appeals to you. Now, the costs of these miners can be denominated in Bitcoin or in USD. And there's a trick to this as well, as I found, is if Bitcoin, it's first of all, it's prudent to always be kind of watching the prices of rigs, because you might find one that is priced cheaply for a period of time and you can kind of scoop that up at a decent price. The other thing that can happen is that if a rig is explicitly priced in BTC, and the price of Bitcoin pumps very quickly, then you may be able to snag a Bitcoin miner for cheaper very quickly, because that price won't get adjusted upwards with the soaring price of Bitcoin. So you may be able to get a rig for less Bitcoin than you would have if you're there as the price pumps up. So just be aware there's some dynamics that can happen. Now, the other thing to note is, in terms of profitability, and we'll break down this chart here or this this set of information that's in front of us here. But profitability is going to depend on a few things. Number one, what is the electricity rate? Well, if you're going through Blockware, it's whatever they're getting out of their facilities. Number two, again, what is the cost of the machine and how efficient is it? What is the hash rate? And then the other thing that is going to play in there is the total hash rate, how much new hash rate is coming onto the network, how many new miners, because there's only so much Bitcoin created every 10 minutes, and whatever your piece of the pie is going to fluctuate with new miners coming into the ecosystem. So let's say if all of a sudden tomorrow you doubled the amount of miners on the network, that wouldn't likely be able to happen in a single day, but over an extended period, there are more people competing for the same pie. And so that pie then has to be divided up into smaller slivers. And so then becomes, what's the value of Bitcoin itself? What is the purchasing power? So there's things that play into that. The other thing that can play into that is miner fees. We've seen instances of massive spikes in on-chain transaction fees. And yes, that can absolutely be a bit of a pain in the ass for an individual using Bitcoin day to day, if they're not, being smart and using things like Lightning and Liquid and so on and so forth. However, for miners, it actually is a bit of a boon, because you get to profit off of those increased transaction fees. So that can play in as well. There's times where the transaction fees end up being a bigger portion of your rewards than the actual newly created Bitcoin. So we did just go through a halving, by the way. And right now, at the time of doing this video, transaction fees happen to be low, but it's coming off of the back of transaction fees being massively high after the halving. So just know that those things can all play in. So what are we looking at here? What we're looking at, number one on the left, is the location. Where is this device hosted? KY stands for Kentucky. If you scroll down a little bit, OK stands for Oklahoma, just so you're aware. And then what machine is it? And you're going to see a whole bunch of different ones, and we'll get into that momentarily. What is the hash rate over the past 24 hours in terahash per second? What is the estimated revenue over the course of 30 days for this machine? What is the estimated profit over 30 days for this particular machine? And what is the price of this machine? Okay. And then, of course, there's a buy now button. Now, you can just kind of scroll through and pick and choose and see what you're looking for. Or you can also, there's filters. So you can filter by hash rate, minimum, maximum, power usage, the price, min or max in Bitcoin or USD. So you can do all those. You can also, and I'll close the filter tab here, you can also just search by model. And so if you have a particular rig in mind that you're looking for a certain hash rate, you can just kind of scroll through. You can even type one in if you're looking for a certain type, but you can see you can just scroll and through and choose a certain rig, and it will show you all of the available rigs to that based on what you're looking for. So I'm going to look for the K Pro, Bitmain S19K Pro. That's in my price range, 120 terahash. So I'm going to click on that device, and that will narrow down all of the options down below. Okay, so I can see, oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. Okay, cool. So there is a lot of them here. I can see more or less the hash rate over 24 hours for a lot of these is pretty similar, in and around 120. Where you see this big spike, that's because it is a group of 25 ASICs there. And so when you are getting large chunks, you're buying multiple machines at once, you're often getting a discount for doing so. So that's also something to keep in mind in terms of profitability, and picking up a device or multiple devices, doing it all at once can be a little bit more cost efficient. But for myself, don't have that kind of cash kicking around. So we're just going to go for one of these regular devices. Now, moving down again, you see the hash rate, the estimated revenue. So that is after you've paid for the device, what are you expecting to get back every 30-day period? And so I can see in and around, again, it's roughly the same. It's basically the same for each one of these devices because it's all the same device. And then estimated profit over here on the right-hand side. So I can see that every 30 days, it's looking to be kicking off in and around 0.00031 BTC. Of course, this is assuming that fees are just kind of staying roughly where they're at. It's also assuming that a ton more hash rate doesn't suddenly come online or drop off the network. So those things can affect this estimation. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to go for one of these devices. Now we're going to look at pricing over on the side here. I don't quite know why these top are so expensive, but I'm not going to pay that amount for a miner. But a lot of them are very similarly priced pretty much across the board. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to snag one of these ones that's going for around 3.8 million sats. So I'm going to go ahead. This top one here, it's in Oklahoma, and maybe I'll go for, I don't know, I'll go for the one that was hashing around 122 the past 24 hours. Okay. And by the way, you can, all of these, a bunch of these up here, you can actually sort by price or by hash rate over 24 hours or by machine, all of that stuff. Okay. So which one I was looking at? This one here. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit buy now. Okay. So this takes me to the screen. It says marketplace. I'm getting an S19K Pro, 120 terahash. This is the hosting fee, what I'm going to be paying, what I have, the dollars per kilowatt hour that I'm paying. And again, the device, I can see the serial number, I can see the hash rate, the power usage, all of that. And it's been online since December 29th of 2023 at 5 p.m. So that looks all good. And again, I can see all of the, basically the power agreements there. Okay, so it's saying you're going to need to pay this much. And so I do have a hosting deposit. Okay, so the hosting deposit is for 0.00780 BTC. So that brings me up to 0.4627 and some odd change Bitcoin. Estimated taxes are there. And so there's my total amount. And so what I can do is now I can hit buy. Again, this is going to give me an agreement, which I can, of course, read through in detail. I'm going to agree and hit begin payment. Okay, and so this brings me to a screen. I have 24 hours to pay this invoice, so for about 0.048, and there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to, I'll pull up a Bitcoin wallet here with the appropriate amount in it, and then we'll get paying this invoice. Okay, so first thing, I will copy the address to send to. I'll jump over to my wallet and I'm going to hit send. I'm going to paste in that address. Good again to check the first few digits, last few digits. Looks the same to me. I'm then going to copy the amount of Bitcoin here and I'll just make mental note of what it is. And then I will paste that in as well. And then I'll just give a note for myself so I know where I sent this if I'm looking back at some point later. Okay, that looks all good. And then I'll just set it as a high priority transaction so that it goes through quickly. I'll hit create transaction. I'll finalize it, sign it, and broadcast. Off it goes. And in short order, that should show up on the Blockware website. Shouldn't take too long. I think they probably, validity of this transaction may take approximately 5 minutes. So yeah, we will basically wait until that transaction officially goes through on the Bitcoin blockchain. And then we should see this, this page change and update with our order status. And just jumping ahead a little bit, just to show, I can see in the transactions menu off to the side, I can see payment in progress for the amount. And so again, once everything is fully confirmed, we should see that reflected. And then I should see that I have a miner in my assets. Now, there's one other thing in the marketplace that I did want to highlight here, and that is bids. So if you click on bids, you can actually place a bid on what you would like to pay for a machine. And so what you can do is you can go and choose a model, perhaps. Again, if I'm looking over here at let's say Bitmain, the K Pro, and then I can put in a price in Bitcoin or USD, whatever that may be, 0.0, I don't know, 0.4 or something like that, or maybe maybe I want to lowball it or whatever it may be. And how many am I looking for? Okay, so maybe I'm looking for just one. Okay, so at this point, it says the amount will be sent in BTC at the exchange rate of the purchase date. And when I hit bid, it's then going to create a bid for me. And this will be added into this list here. And I then am basically waiting for somebody to have a machine, want to sell it for that price and offer it up to me, at which point I can purchase it and it will show up in my assets as soon as I've made the payment. Now, if I have placed a bid and I want to change it or edit it or remove it, what I can do is, again, I can click on bids. And if I want to find my own, like it will have an edit bid button over on the right there. But if I'm looking for a bid for a specific one, that I can, again, search up the one that I bid for, and that will pop up there. I can hit edit bid, and if I want, I can change it to whatever amount I want, or I can hit unpublished bid. So I'll do that now, take that out. So yeah, you can go ahead and you can edit your bids. If you're looking to pick up rigs again, and you are you're really looking for a particular price. So again, if Bitcoin pumps and you want to pick it up for X number of sats, well, you can set that bid there and just kind of let the market do its thing, and you'll be notified. So anyways, useful if you're, again, kind of looking for that perfect price point for a rig for you and for a particular unit. Well, bids are very, very useful. When it comes to assisted multisig and inheritance planning, it's hard to beat Nunchuck.io and their Honey Badger program. On your mobile device, they allow you to set up a full multi-signature vault. And once it's done, you have baked in inheritance planning so that your Bitcoin gets to your next of kin if anything should happen to you. On top of this, the entire thing can be set up with devices like the tap signer, the cold card, and plenty more options. And the whole thing can be done without KYC. You don't need to give up your personal information to have it set up and working for you. You can check them out today over at nunchuck.io. When it comes to peer-to-peer trading and lending, instant self-custody, and no KYC, HODL HODL is the place to be. You can sign up with just an email address, and once you're there, you can start browsing offers immediately, whether you're looking to buy and sell, or whether you're looking to lend or borrow. You can check them out today at the links down below. Okay, so it's been a little bit of time. My transaction has gone through. Do be patient. It's not just going to be a single confirmation. From what I hear, it should take about 5 confirmations on the blockchain before your dashboard begins reflecting your device and the transaction going through. For me, it was a couple longer, but that's kind of the ballpark that you might be looking for. Either way, we can see here that things have changed. So what am I seeing? Number one, it shows total revenue. Of course, like this thing has just come under my control, so that's going to be very, very low. My total hash rate over 24 hours, the power usage, and my total number of rigs are now reflected here. Down below, I have charts, and so I can see my hash rate going from 0 to what it is currently now. I can change to see my efficiency, and of course, that's going to be reflective in my hash rate once it's been running for a little bit, and of course my revenue. And of course this revenue is going to change significantly over the course of days, weeks, months, so on and so forth. But all of that will be there and available for me to see. And then if I scroll down to the bottom, I can see my assets, and I can see the machine model, the number of rigs, the hash rate, and the power usage all right there as well. If I go to my assets, again, this will be listed there, and I do see the sell button available for me if I want. And with my own device here, again, if I go ahead and I click on it, I'm going to see a lot more details about it, power usage, all of that, more detailed graphs and all that, pool fees, energy price, kilowatt per hour, per kilowatt hour rather. And then again, my monthly hosting fee is sitting right there. And yeah, that's that. So we're basically all set, good to go. And if I go to transactions, I can see the transaction purchase completed, everything there. I can view the contract and view my transaction on a block explorer as well. So what do I do at this point? Well, I sit back, I relax, I allow this thing to hash, and I allow payouts to come to my own Bitcoin wallet. Now, I want to take a quick look at our wallet here, just so we kind of see the settings and how we've set everything for payouts. So I'll go to the wallet. And again, I'm not going to have any balance here or anything like that, other than I have revenue of, well, this thing's been plugged in for no time at all, but 4 cents, right? We've been sitting here for a couple of minutes. Nonetheless, I can see here listed under pending balance, my threshold is 0.001 BTC, which is 100,000 sats. My interval is once every 24 hours. So if there's 100,000 sats sitting in this wallet, it will send it to my Bitcoin address. Now, I may want to adjust that again to be higher. Maybe I want it to be 500,000 sats. Maybe I want it to be 1,000,000 sats, but that's what it's currently set at. And I can change that if I see fit. And to change that, I just go up to my username in the top right, go down, hit settings, and here we go. We have the threshold, we have the wallet address, so I can swap that out if I see fit. I actually am going to change that, I think. I'll go 0.005. I'm going to hit save changes, and I think that should be fine. I'll just hit wallet here. Threshold, there we go. Now it reflects 0.005 and interval of 24 hours. So that's a bit better. It won't be too small of a transaction in case there's a bump in transaction fees. Nonetheless, we're good to go, and we can just kind of sit back and let this thing hash. Now, I am going to show you the walkthrough of what you can do if you do want to sell your rig on the market. And I'm not going to go ahead with it because I obviously just started using this thing, but we'll just walk through really quick. So if I go to assets here, I can see this rig that I have and any others would be listed down below. There is a button that says sell. And so this will allow me to select which I'd like to sell. So I hit the check mark. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to click the green sell rigs button. And then it says require buyers to purchase all rigs in the offer. So if I have multiple, then I can click that button, or somebody, if I don't click it, somebody can select how many they'd like. I can enter a description, and then I can, it shows me the average selling price for a rig right now, but I can set that as I see fit in Bitcoin or in US dollars, and then I can publish for sale, and then that would go up in the marketplace, and we would be all set there. I'm going to cancel this for now because I'm just going to let this thing continue to hash. But either way, as soon as you want to do that, you can list in the marketplace for whatever price that you like, and you'll be off to the races. So just some final thoughts here just to wrap up. Again, this is a first foray into having a hosted rig anywhere when it comes to mining for me. And this is my first foray into it other than, you know, my space heater at home. But I am very much limited when it comes to mining at home because of the prohibitive costs of electricity, living in a city and everything like that. So that's why I figure I would give this a whirl. Now, I'm going to say that the onboarding process here was pretty dead simple. I mean, you saw the walkthrough and everything. There wasn't too many complicated bits there. Obviously, if you're unfamiliar with hash rates and things like that, that's something that you can gradually kind of read up on. But in terms of just setting up an account and purchasing a rig, and then it's just working, not too much to think about. And the marketplace itself was very easy to navigate and pretty simple to use. Now we'll just see how I do in terms of hashing and stacking some sats over time. And we'll just let that flow into my wallet. Maybe I'll do an update video like a year out and have an idea of kind of where I stand at that point. But either way, I guess I can just sit back and hash. Let me know what you think of the interface here, your experiences of mining, if you've done home mining, if you've done hosted mining, anything like that. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you're curious about them, about any of the links that we've used today, you can check them out also in the show notes down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do like, subscribe, share, all those things super important. They help get this content in front of more eyeballs. If you want to help the show in another way, you can head up the previously mentioned sponsors in the show notes down below. And if you are sorting through some of the tutorials on the channel and you just find that you need an additional helping hand, you need some one-on-one help, well, you can reach out at my new company, bitcoinmentor.io. We have a team of Bitcoin educators that have been hand selected by myself, and you can book yourself one-on-one appointments to get set up with wallets, hardware, multisig, and plenty more. Again, head over to bitcoinmentor.io. And with that, I'm out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. See you guys next time for your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.